Welcome back to Northern Star Sports Weekly. Again, it's me, Brian Belford, and my partner over here.
Sports editor Jimmy Johnson.
That's right, folks.
Partner
Back for
in crime.
another crazy week of sports and shenanigans. Let's start it off with the game that happened this weekend. It wasn't much of a game for NIU. Disappointedly, we lost to Wisconsin 49-7. We were in it for a little while. The turning point in the game that we, the sports writers, talked about was the failed onside kick attempts, which everyone actually thought NIU had recovered. But the Badgers came up with it, took the ball, and after that it was basically all Wisconsin. Jimmy, what did you see from that game that really stood out to you?
Well, Brian, I completely agree. The onside kick to me was a major turning point in the game. I can't say that it had an alarming effect on the entire game. I think that Wisconsin, by far, was just the better team versus NIU. I think when you look at the Badgers, by the end of the year, they could be competing for, or if not in, the national championship. And the thing that stood out to me the most was Russell Wilson. This guy is good as they advertise. 347 yards passing, 23 for 32, 3 touchdowns. He had all the time in the world. There's a point where I can't recall at the top of my mind, but an NIU defender had him wrapped up for a sack behind the line of scrimmage, and for whatever reason, he just kind of swooped out of there and got away. So this is kind of a game that I think NIU had a feeling going in that if they put up a good fight, they might have a chance. But at the end of the day, I mean, you're dealing with a Big Ten juggernaut. So it was far out of reach.
Okay, guys, let's get down to the NFL here, and allow me, if you will, to put on my Bill Swirsky superfan glasses and talk to you about the Bears.
He's pulling this out.
Jimmy, the Bears look really good against the Falcons in Week 1. We beat the Falcons 30-13 behind the strength of an excellent special teams and a very good defense.
That's right, Bob.
The second game of the season, we lost to the New Orleans Saints. We had the game, looked like we were pretty close in the third quarter, but we ended up losing 30-13. What did you see in that game, Jimmy, that really made you kind of mad?
Well, the thing that ticked me off the most is the fact that Mike Martz completely abandoned the running game. We had 12 rushing attempts, one of which came from Jay Cutler running out of the pocket and running away from Saint defenders and everything. I think it's clearly evident that the Bears are not going to be able to run Martz's system because they clearly do not have the personnel. And I read earlier that Karimi is going to be out with a dislocated knee. So this already adds problems to an already terrible offensive line. Wide receiver-wise, you have Dane Stanzenbacher. How do you pronounce that?
Sanzenbacher.
I just
He's
butchered
from
his
Ohio.
name. Like a sirloin steak.
Like a sirloin steak.
No.
Jimmy, let me interject here, and I'm very sorry for
Cut me
interrupting
off.
you.
Do it.
I apologize. What do
giving
you
you
say
room.
to people who want to see Caleb Aney in the game? I mean, taking over for Jay Cutler.
I can't stand those people. Please don't. I understand that the backup quarterback in Chicago is one of the most popular people around this time of the year, but don't give up on the sugar diabetic quarterback yet. Jay Cutler, if he can make it through this whole year, God bless him. I think the guy deserves a Medal of Honor of some sorts, but it's not going to be easy. More importantly, this weekend, we have the Packers versus the Bears.
The Packers versus the Bears. I hate those cheeseheads.
Sick, man.
Do you have a prediction for this game, Jimmy?
I see Green Bay coming out and winning. I think that with the problems up front now, with the line with Karimi being potentially out, and Lance Lewis, who really isn't that much to talk about already, I think Clay Matthews, B.J. Raji up front for Green Bay's defense has a big day. I'm going to go 31-14 Green Bay. And I mean that with, I can't even put it into words. I don't want to pick the Packers, but I have to be objective.
Well, that just shows where your loyalties lie, Jimmy. You were probably born in Wisconsin and grew up watching Brett Favre. I think the Bears are going to win in a low-scoring affair of 21-17. Go Bears.
Here you go. And finally, we did this a couple weeks ago. I was right on my upside pick, the Bills. So I'm going to take the Bills again this weekend. Buffalo over New England. Okay? I'm riding the Ryan Fitzpatrick train. He's on my fantasy team. So I might be a little, punch love drunk on Ryan Fitzpatrick. But it's in Buffalo. I understand New England, Tom Brady. That guy's arm just miles and miles and miles. So, but I'm going to go Buffalo. I think they're going to find a way at home and take on the Pats. What about you?
Excellent pick. This guy's 2-0. He predicted Buffalo over Oakland last week. Two weeks ago, he predicted the Redskins to beat the G-Men.
You should lay off the rib tips.
I had ribs for lunch. That's why I pick my teeth sometimes while I'm talking. I'm going to take Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the Falcons in Tampa Bay. I'm not going to give you a score because I don't do that. But I think the Falcons, they won against the Eagles. But the Bucs are going to win this game at home in sunny Florida in Tampa Bay.
Well, I think that's it for now, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Bill, Brian, Mark, William.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. I really appreciate it.
He's back. We'll see you guys later. Thanks for joining.